say it until I heard that. But actually, my dad's a hell of a tough act to follow as well. And being his oldest son, it's my calling, I guess. B.J. Fowler was my father. That makes me one of the 3 luckiest people in the world. Along with our mom, Pop taught Diane, Jeff, and me so much about love, life, and laughter. I'm proud to be a son and honored to share a few stories about him with you today. As many of you know, Pop worked on the railroad, and yes, all of the long day, for 36 years. Having grown up in a very small town in Indiana, he made the most of his opportunities. And in doing so, he helped develop an appreciation for opportunity and a drive to help others create their own. As he said several times of late, you got to do something. He wasn't just happy accepting what was given to him. He took that and looked to improve upon it, or completely shake things up and make something new. And it's his spirit of seizing opportunities that I'd like to share with you today. Perhaps the greatest opportunity that Pop took advantage of was in love. My folks met on a blind date in November of 1971. And this is way before like Facebook and Match.com, where you could like see pictures of people for you. So it was a pretty big risk to have taken. But they did that. They had an opportunity and they took advantage of it. They married just 2 months later, in January of 1972. It's incredible. 38 years, 3 children, and 3.5 grandchildren later, there are many signs of their enduring love. And as his family and friends, we owe it to his legacy to continue creating and taking advantage of opportunities together and for each other. So, as Pop's career advanced, he got a job in management. This was long before we were born, but anyhow, by the time we were living in Syracuse and we were growing up, the kids growing up, my dad got Jeff and I some jobs. They were our first paying jobs. And, you know, these aren't the typical, like, get your sons on the payroll, you know, make 15 bucks an hour, making copies. He got us a job cleaning toilets and mopping floors in probably the dingiest railroad depot in Syracuse. And we weren't paid by the hour. We were paid by the job. So my brother and I had to cut 15 bucks or something like that in half. So it didn't matter how long it took. What mattered was the quality of the work that we did. And he didn't let us go through the motions. Everything had to be just so. And that taught us so many things: the value of hard work, the importance of the quality of that work, and to learn as much as we could so we wouldn't have to clean toilets the rest of our lives. That was a joke. It's okay to laugh. And to be sure, as I said earlier, it taught us the value of opportunity. There was another interesting thing about that depot. There was a bulletin board there that people wrote and posted things on. My pop did an office there. He had an office in a tower on the other side of town over with the rail yard. So he rarely saw this bulletin board. And we saw some stuff on that bulletin board. I remember one time, in really big block letters, it said, "BJ is a jerk." And the language may have been a bit more colorful, but this is a family item. And she told me the same thing he would have, that being right isn't always popular. And that, well, he wouldn't have told me this, but being the guy on top makes you an easy target. And you have to be strong and courageous to be a leader. That didn't make much sense to me when I was 12 when she was telling me this, but having seen the strength and courageousness in my father this past year, it makes a lot of sense. As was noted earlier, much of his adult life, he helped create opportunities for others through philanthropy and fraternity. As Ben mentioned, it just meant so much to him to be able to devote so much of his time transporting kids to their treatments. As a Master Mason and a Shriner myself, I hope to honor my father's legacy by devoting as much time as I'm able when I'm able. So we'll all miss my pop's laughs, his incredible warmth, and his funny way of pronouncing things. But his example lives as an inspiration for all of us to follow. As Jeff said earlier, he went through a lot this past year, but he never once complained. His strength and courage through this process is only rivaled by that of my mother. She's been incredibly selfless and patient with him, and I am forever grateful. She made this past year possible for all of us, and the decades before, all the more enjoyable for Pop. Words alone are inadequate to convey my appreciation and admiration for you. So, in keeping with Pop's wishes, we should take advantage of this opportunity that we have. So many people have come from so many places today, friends and family from near and far, all with a connection to my dad. So let's not stand around and stare at our shoes, wondering who will talk first. You can imagine if you were here among us, you're somewhere near the middle of the action, telling stories and sharing some jokes. So please channel the spirit of my father, and I encourage you to break the ice and share with me and others your favorite stories about this great man. Because the death may end a life,